On this episode, Dad sews a cute little fabric basket.
Dad sews! Dad sews! Dad sews! Dad sews! Dad sews! Dad sews! This is how it goes with Dad sews!
Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for the latest episode of Dad Sews. If you missed our last episode, well, you can click on it right here. I tried to sew a patch on a pair of my daughter's jeans and it went horribly wrong. And you can see what I did to remedy that if you click right here. All right, now this week I am making a fabric basket. All it is 2 pieces of fabric sewn together, and it has these ribbons so that you can tie it into a basket. I'm going to show you some pictures while I talk about it. Now, my wife asked me to do this for Easter. Well, it's after Easter, and she's mad at me, so I have to make a cute little basket for my little baby girl so that she'll think, oh, that's so cute, thank you for doing that, and forget that I totally dropped the ball and missed my Easter deadline. Now for the baby basket, I have some cute baby fabric right here. It has giggles and sweet baby, first words, miracle, aw, cute. And on the back, it's a blue piece of fabric with clouds all over it. And that is going to be the bottom of my basket. Now, here's the thing about this basket. I don't have a pattern. I had no idea how this was put together. I could not find the seam for where they turned it out after they sewed it together. So I took it to someone who knows how to sew, and they pointed out to me where the person had hand sewn it. And she said, look, this person is very good at hand sewing. And I gotta tell you the truth, I still can't see the stitch that she pointed out. But I'm just gonna try to do it on my machine and make it look as good as possible. Now, this is the first time I'm working with ribbon, and it'll be the first time I'm working with this fancy stitch that's over the ribbon. So, I'm not going to put the handle on this basket. If it goes okay, if I'm successful, I'll try to come back on round 2 and make a basket with a handle. But let's just see how this goes first. All right, now I have these squares cut out at 8 inches a piece. The one that I was working with as a model is 7.5 inches square. I went ahead and did 8 inches square. It's probably going to end up being about 7 inches square once I turn it out and all of the seams are sewn, especially as crooked as I sew seams. So I'm going to put these pieces right side together. I'm going to pin them. I'm going to just slap the iron on it for a second, and then I'll see you over at the sewing machine. All right, well, we have our fabric cut, ironed, pressed, and pinned, and now we're going to go to the sewing machine. I'm going to start in the middle so that I can turn it all inside out. I thought about turning it out on a corner, but I'll be sewing some of the ribbon across the middle parts, and I thought maybe it would be easier to hide the seam that way. I'm not sure because it was hand sewn on the original that I'm working off of, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do a quarter seam allowance, the edge of the foot. I'm going to try my best to keep it there and leave a little hole so I can turn it out when we're done. All right, so let's put it under the foot and lock it down. All right, and let's start sewing. Now, I did rethread my machine with some nice pink thread that should match. And I'm just, like I said, going to do my best to keep it straight. Now, I'm at the corner. I'm going to push my needle in the fabric and lift up my foot, and I'm going to turn it. And man, it is not quite to the corner. Whew, I don't know the best way to judge when to stop when you're close to the corner. All right, pop my needle down, lift up the foot, spin this around. All right, there I am. If you know a really good way on how to judge when you're getting close want to turn your fabric with your needle down and your foot up, please, please, please leave it in the comments below on this YouTube page or at dadsews.com, Facebook, wherever you have found us. I monitor them all, and I would love to know how you know when you're getting close enough to turn that corner. It's really a judgment call, I guess. Maybe you're just going to tell me, well, practice makes perfect. Well, that's not good enough for me right now. I don't have the practice time in. All right, I've got to another corner. I did not get far enough. And I thought that I kind of judged it a little better this time. I'm just going to go one more stitch. Oh, that was way more than a stitch. All right, so I'm going to put my needle down, turn this foot. And now I'm too far. So this may be wrong, but I'm going to pop the needle out. It's so close, and pop the foot back down, and ooh, stuck myself with a pin. And we'll just see if I can do that, and hopefully I didn't ruin the stitch there. All right, we are on our third side. Well, second and a half, because remember, we left a hole so that we could turn out the fabric once we've got it sewn together. Now, you did make sure to put them right sides together, correct? Yes, I know. A better sewing tutorial would have told you that before we started. But you've got me. All right, I did a perfect job hitting that corner. So, let's get down there. Now, can I remember exactly where I was when I turned that corner this time around so I get it the same? Probably not. All right, now I am going slow. I know a lot of you can go faster than this, but I just don't want to mess up my seam allowance. I'm trying my best to keep the fabric at the edge of the foot. Heck, I've said in other videos, I didn't even know that a quarter seam allowance was the edge of the foot, because so many people have sewn for so long and they forget to tell new people that. All right, pop the needle down, turn it. All right, I did a pretty good job. Now I have to sew just part way down, and I'm going to leave about 2 fingers distance. Alright, I am going to backstitch just a little. I didn't at the beginning just in case I needed to pop the seam. Alright, now I wish I had one of those machines that cut the thread for you, but I don't. Alright, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and trim around the edges with my trusty Fisker pinking shears. And that way, not only does the fabric not fray, but it'll be less fabric to be tucked into those corners when I do turn it out. I'm going to turn it out and then I will be right back. All right, now I turned my fabric inside out. Now getting the corners is really hard, and they have a plastic contraption for doing this at the fabric store, but it was like $4, and it's just a piece of plastic that's curved on one end and straight on the other. And I thought, I could just make that out of a piece of plastic. And then I thought, what do we all have in our homes, or most of us, or the girthy of us have in our homes that we could use? And I got a pair of chopsticks from Chinese takeout. And this works perfect because you have a larger end and a smaller end if you need it. And I just went in that hole and I poked through and got those corners turned out. And it looks great. And I didn't have to spend an extra $3. All I had to do was order an extra helping of garlic chicken. So there's a tip for you from Dad Sews. All right, now what we're going to do is lay out our ribbon on top of our fabric. Try to measure them out evenly. We have 4 pieces of ribbon that we're going to use, and then I'm going to do a decorative stitch on that. So let me move the camera and we'll get on to the next part. All right, I have 4 pieces of ribbon that I've cut to 20 inches each, and I've gone ahead and laid out one side with them down the middle and measure them equal distances apart. Now, when I have these sewn, I will go ahead and sew the other ones. And this is what it looks like. You can see I pinned it in there. Now, I'm going to do a decorative stitch that's similar to the one on my original piece, but I don't have that exact stitch on my machine. So I picked one on my Singer Fashion Mate. And if you want to see what model we have, you can go to dadsews.com. I picked stitch number 26. It looked decorative and it looked kind of like a mix of a zigzag stitch and something decorative. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and we're going to go ahead and get it sewn up. All right, well, we've got the fabric under our sewing machine. I'm going to lock down the foot. We have our decorative stitch selected on the machine. Again, I chose stitch number 26 on my machine. I'm not changing anything else other than the number of the stitch. And let's hope it goes right and looks good. Now I'm going to try to just hold it as straight as possible because this is what makes up the wall of the basket when you tie them together. All right. I'm gonna backstitch just a little bit. All right, now we go. All right, now these fancier stitches do take longer to run through your machine. And I want to be careful to keep it completely on the ribbon and not go too fast because I want it to look nice. But I also want it to work. So even if it's not the best looking basket the first time around, I definitely want it to function. Now the stitch that I picked, I could change the width if I wanted to, and on the next two pieces of ribbon I might make them a little thinner just because this is almost perfectly the width of the ribbon, and every once in a while it seems like it's coming off of it just a bit. So I will probably adjust it on the next go round on the other two on the opposite side. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. I don't think I did a perfect job measuring where the ribbon went. It looks a little bit crooked to me already, but this is my first attempt and I am working without a pattern. Of course, the mistake I made was just due to math and poor studying on my part as a child. All right, back stitch, and let's lift that up and pull it off and see what it looks like. All right, that's not bad. It actually looks very cool and it's very sturdy. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew the other one, and then I'm gonna sew the other two off camera now that you've seen that it looks pretty good. You can see it there on the sewing camera. There we go. And then I'm also gonna give some close-up shots once we're finished. We'll be right back. All right, well, we are complete. We have all 4 of our ribbons sewn. It doesn't look that bad, except for one ribbon I got way out of whack. You can see it right here. It's 1.5 inches on this end and probably about 2 inches on this end, but that's all right. It's the first time we went to the project. You can see the stitching actually looks really, really kind of cool. So what do? You take these corners, and you can tie it up either way, but I think this would be the best way to tie it. And you take this and you tie a little bow in it, like so. Oh, my bow tying leaves something to be desired. All right, we sew. I said we sew. We tie this one together in a bow. This is exciting television right here. Television, it's YouTube. You know YouTube is the new TV. Everybody knows that. Make sure you stay around after the video is over because there's a little appearance by a good friend of mine, and he had something to share with you at the end of this video. He's an important part of the team. All right, there we go. It makes a nice little basket. What would I do differently with this project? Well, the original one has thicker fabric. I used the fabric that my wife bought me for the project she wanted me to sew. So that's on her. Thicker fabric would hold up better. And when you tie it together, it's just a little more sturdy. But this is nice, and it still makes a cute, nice little gift. Maybe if I had put some thicker material inside, some of that thick mesh material, that would have made it a little better too. Also, I didn't put a handle on this one because I had never sewn with ribbon. I had never turned out a square like that before, and that obviously needs to be done. Now, I have not finished the hole where I turned out this basket. It needs to have a quick stitch put in it, and I'm just going to run it along my machine a very little bit right there and sew that last stitch in. If I was really good at hand sewing, I would do that, but I'm not. So I'm not gonna. Thank you for watching Dad Sews. I'm just glad we had a successful project, especially after last week and the patch incident. We are going on break for a couple weeks. I'm taking my wife on a cruise. We were married 20 years last year, and we're going on a cruise a month before our 21st anniversary. So, hey, we've reached drinking age. I won't be any good to anybody for at least a couple weeks. We will be back soon. I'm already slurring my words. We will be back in 2 weeks. And please stick with us and check out dadsews.com. And if you would, please click subscribe. There's a spinny button right there. It's so easy to do. And if you would just share a video with your friends, maybe it's our Office Space parody shot-for-shot remake where we destroy a sewing machine with baseball bats, like the movie Office Space. Hey, maybe that makes you cry a little inside, but your husband, he's gonna love it. So check out dadsews.com for other videos, or dadsews.com/YouTube will take you right to our playlist. Thank you for watching and supporting Dad Sews, and we will be back in a couple of weeks. Ah! You caught me using child labor. You just keep making the things.
Yes, sir.
Back to work. Hey, many thanks to my assistant cameraman, my son Carlin Jackson. He works also on our podcast, the What Are We Watching podcast at whatarewewatching.com. You gotta check that out, especially if you have kids. I watch all those horrible kids TV shows that they love, and we all know
They're
are bad.
not horrible.
They're really horrible. And then I talk about how bad they are, and he tries to convince me they're good. So check out whatarewewatching.com to see our podcast. Hey, say goodbye, cameraman.
Bye.
What are you doing on this side of the camera? Go get to work. Get to work. This production is brought to you by the Plaid Dad Blog Podcast Network. For more information, visit plaiddadblog.com.